Good afternoon. Great to see so many of you. With John walking in between the rows.
I'm going to see if they can see at the back.
Can they hear at the back?
Well, it's quiet. There's a microphone.
Okay. We're very glad to be here in the frosty city of Chelyabinsk. And John came without a coat.
Right.
Yeah, they know about that. Yeah, and this is the first frosty city we're in actually, because we've been to Archangel, Volgograd, St. Petersburg and Moscow. And minus 23 in Chelyabinsk is really refreshing. Today we're together presenting to you a publisher whose name at least might be new to you, and the publisher is called National Geographic Learning. This is not a new publisher. They were called previously Heinle ELT, and even earlier they were called Thomson ELT, and this new rebranding into National Geographic Learning is connected with the fact that the mother company, Cengage Learning, has acquired the publishing arm of the National Geographic Society, and Cengage Learning have an exclusive agreement with the National Geographic Society about the usage of their archives of their material in educational purposes. So don't be afraid, we're going to talk about English language teaching, not about geography. Yeah, and National Geographic Learning, it's just because National Geographic is such a strong brand, and the product is branded this way. I'm very glad to introduce to you the author of several series published by National Geographic Learning, Джон Хьюз. The main series John will be presenting today is called Life. This is very life-asserting title, and we even thought of playing a series of songs which have word life in it, like life is life, da 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 da, yeah, and the rest of it. If you come up with ideas which songs have catchy lines with word life in them, we'd appreciate this. Just write it on a piece of paper for John, and next time we come there'll be a disco with life songs in them. But on a serious note, this is a brand new 6-level course for upper secondary and adults, from beginner to advanced, and it's an exciting series, and we'll sample it to you so that you can study it later on. John will also be talking about a practical grammar series which he published with National Geographic Learning, and Total Business, which is, as you guess, is business English title, also published with National Geographic Learning. For those of you who are the first time in our events organized with Esperanto, you've got registration cards, the blue pieces of paper. So during the event, take your time and fill in the details. We're mostly interested in your email address, well, and the mobile number, just in case we need to get in touch with you urgently. We would appreciate if you put your email address in block capitals, so then that we input it into the computer correctly without any typos, which will give us a chance to inform you of new events, of new publications, and the rest of it. Then those of you who survive to the end of the event, yeah, well, John will do his best so that you survive, will be able to exchange this registration card for a gift certificate, and you'll be receiving a selection of gifts. You've got these programs. If you look at the back page, back cover, so you'll be getting as your samples one level of Total Business series, one level of Life series, one level of Practical Grammar, and a collection of National Geographic Explorer magazines. So using these gift certificates, in Russian talony, na podarki, later on you'll be able to come to the Esperanto office and collect your gifts. All the details will be on these gift certificates, like where, when, what is the contact telephone number. So wait until you get them. and I'm sure that it will answer all the questions. Before I give the floor to John, I would like to introduce to you Liz Huntley, who especially came from the UK which 11 to be with us. She's Senior Accounts Manager for National Geographic Learning and for Engaged Learning in general, and she's responsible for a huge territory including Russia, but I think Liz will tell you better who she is and what she is doing. That's all from me, and I would like to thank you once again for coming, and enjoy your time with John and with Liz. Liz,
okay, thank you.
The floor is all yours.
I'm going to be very, very brief because Slava has basically said everything that I would have said. So just to introduce myself properly, my name's Liz Huntley. I work for National Geographic Learning. I'm based in the UK. Russia's one of my most important markets and one of the places that I really like to come and visit. This is actually my second visit to Chelyabinsk because on my very first visit to Russia 4 years ago, we came here, but it was a little bit earlier in the year. So it is for me completely delightful to come here and see and experience the cold weather and to see the trees which look so beautiful. So for me, this visit to Chelyabinsk is really quite special, and it's lovely to come here and see so many faces looking this way who've turned up at the event. So thank you for coming. As Slava said, we're called National Geographic Learning now. We've had various other names. I hope that some of you are already familiar with some of our books. I hope that after today and in the future you will want to get to know some of the other books. I know that they have a good selection on sale here today with I think very special prices as well. So please do have a look in the break. If you've got any questions or comments or anything that you would like to know about the company, do please come and talk to me in the break. I'll be here, and there's nothing else for me to say really apart from just enjoy it. It's great that so many of you are here. It's quite a full room. So if any of you who came in a little bit late, want and just put your chairs at the front. If you want to move a bit further back, or arrange yourself so that you're comfortable, please feel free to do that. But I'm going to hand over now to John for the first of his 4 talks.
Right.
So
Thank you very much, Liz. Right. Ladies and gentlemen at the back, can you hear me if I speak like this? Okay, please nodding. And am I too loud for the people at the front? We look all right. Okay. And I don't know, if I switch this off, maybe you can see the screen better. No. Is that better?
Better.
Okay, perfect. I'll stand here then, so I'm sort of in the light. Thank you very much for coming this afternoon. Very nice to see so many people. It's amusing because I arrived in Russia without a proper winter coat because I came from England where it was still quite warm. And the first place I arrived was Archangel or Arkhangelsk, and it looked like this. I felt very much at home. This was about a week ago that I went to the north of Russia, and I took some photographs up there, and I saw this windmill in the snow, and it made me feel very much at home, because home looks similar to that. I live just outside Oxford, in a little village on the hillside, and at the top of the hill there's a windmill. And when I'm writing books and working, I can take a break, walk the dog, and wander around the windmill. The windmill is about it's from 1685, so it's about 300 years old, from the time of King Charles II, so it's quite a famous windmill in my area. And then so I do some writing, and I also do some teaching and some teacher training. And to do that, I go to Oxford, which is about 20 minutes down the hillside, okay, either on a bicycle or in the car to go to work. But I do live just outside of Oxford, and my life is a mixture of writing, teaching, and teacher training. This is my second time in Russia. I came about a year ago. I've been here for a week. Chelyabinsk is my last stop, and I think it's quite interesting that I've come from temperatures of minus 22 into a room which feels about plus 30 now. It's getting quite hot, and it may get hotter before the afternoon is over. This afternoon there are 4 talks. Each talk is about 45 minutes long. We'll have a break in between, so the timetable you have is more or less correct. I'm not going to just talk at you for the whole afternoon. It's interactive, so I require involvement, okay? I might ask you to talk to the person next to you. I might ask you to try out some classroom activities to see what you think. I want to do a mixture of a little bit of theory, but also some practical things that you could use in the classroom. Now, somebody mentioned to me that there are students here today. Do we have students in the room? Yes? Excellent. So we've got a nice mix. We've got some students and some teachers. I shall try to adjust certain parts of the talk to the students, because it would be interesting to get your viewpoint on certain things as well as from the teachers, so we get a nice interactive mix, okay? The first talk is the day in the life of the course book, and about 3 years ago, National Geographic magazine asked me to write some materials for language teachers. They have an educational department, and they wanted to make use of all the information, the articles, the videos that National Geographic have, and they wanted to turn them into a course series. We've produced 6 course books. The pre-intermediate, intermediate and upper intermediate are all out now, and I've just finished writing the elementary level, which has now gone to Hong Kong to be printed. So by spring next year there'll be the beginner level, the elementary and the advanced level as well. What I'm going to do in the first talk is sort of some reflection on writing this book. And I also spent quite a lot of time observing teachers. One of the most useful things for a writer to do is obviously to go and teach with your material, but it's actually more useful to give the material to another teacher and say, try it out and see what happens and see what the students think of it. So we spent quite a lot of time just testing parts of the material out with different classes. And fortunately, I can go to Oxford and try out material. And I also interviewed the teachers. I was interested to know how other teachers used the course book in the classroom, what they did with the course book, and also what the students did with the course book. Because course books, we kind of take them for granted. We use them a lot and all the time, but we use them in all sorts of different ways. And I just wanted to see what people were doing. So this first talk is a kind of reflection on that. Typically when I approach writing books, I have 3 things in my head. So my imaginary classroom is something like this. I have the teacher, the learners and the materials, and they interact at certain points in the classroom. And where they interact is what interests me as a materials writer. For example, when the learner, the teacher and the materials all come together in the classroom, typically I'm writing what I would use a course book, or I'm producing materials that could be used in the class. And that type of material is very different to the material elsewhere. Do you want a seat here? Okay. If I'm thinking of writing for the learners only, I'm writing self-study material like workbooks or interactive materials that come on computers and that kind of thing. And it's a very different type of writing because the teacher doesn't need to be involved. And it tends to be very head down, gap fill exercises, self-study type materials, as opposed to the types of things that we have in the